here because I try to remember. Uh, see, Queen of the Wing. Yeah, give us information on the director.
I think it was a woman, right?
I believe so because
Mhm.
because let's see. I'll get it out here. It should be telling me so here. All right, I get here. It came out last year,
Okay.
and see the director should be the synopsis of the movie. Director is Ash. So Ash usually, if it's short for Ashley, but it's Ash Delavilson. I think that's what it said. Nope, he's a dude.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right. I was
yeah,
gonna
it's a guy
see
that
it.
directed
I
this
was
movie.
Yeah, when it came out, I was thinking about seeing it, but I don't know what happened. I didn't see it. So when I see it on YouTube, I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, this is why I wanted to check it out. I wanted to check this movie out because, like I said before, I knew about her, Mildred Burke, online and stuff. There was a YouTuber, he was talking about her. And, yeah, and I also seen it in other and it's about about like strong women of the past, and so yeah, but I don't know
Yeah,
at
there
first.
was
No, I was gonna say at first it seemed like a feminist movie. I wasn't sure, but but it is what it is.
well, it was a decent movie, and like I said, Hollywood is trying to, after especially for so many years when stuff was going on in Hollywood, the things that were going on with women in Hollywood, and also the cast and couch situation, the Me Too movement, things are changing.
Yeah.
And it's not so much as feminist, it's just that it was a movie that about a woman's story. Especially she was one of the most successful women in the sport of professional wrestling. But she had some hard times. This is the guy who directed. His name is Ash. It's Elevidinson. I think that's how you spell his name. And he's the guy who directed the movie. And
Mm.
he directed quite a few movies, but this was, I think, probably one of his biggest ones. There's a lot of talk on it. I think it got some good praise, and also I think it may have got a few. I don't think it got no nominations for any big awards. You know, uh, it's like I said, it was something I think different. As you know, WWE is getting really big. And I think one thing I think they pushed it because their business is growing. And she was inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame almost 10 years ago because she died back in 1989. She got inducted into the Western Hall of Fame, and then a few years later, about another 12 years later, she got inducted to the Wrestling Hall of Fame. Here's some pictures here. All the ladies that were in the movie. You have Naomi right there. These are the ladies. They're one of the first black women. They were supposed to be sisters. That's Clint Eastwood's
Yeah.
daughter, who played Mae Young, and a couple other ladies who played the other wrestlers I used to be in that was with um, Mildred. But like I said, they trained, they had to work out, makeup. That's the guy from Teen Wolf who played
Yeah.
the son of her ex-husband. You know, they're he's in a field somewhere because they're doing it somewhere in the country, like around Kansas, and there she go again. She's a pretty girl. She looks about like a mother. You know, and that's the young man who was playing her son when he got older. And there goes the ex-husband. There's Josh Lucas. He was in a movie Cripple Hulk, Hulk, a bunch of other movies, TV shows. He's a good bad guy villain kind of character. You know, here is the baby that played the son. And actually, she had a daughter again, but they didn't mention her because she died later on during her career as a wrestler.
When you find that out,
Yeah, like I say, hey,
how did you
when I get
find
a
it out?
subject,
I'm asking you,
well,
like, how did you find that out?
it's called Wikipedia.
Um,
It's yeah. All you got to do is just say you pull up the name, you research, you get some
okay,
information to tell you. You know.
okay,
But yeah, here's a picture she took with her. It's like a little her and Mildred. You can see there, even though Mildred was a little bit bigger, the condition is really pretty good. And that was different then compared to now. We look at health and fitness back in the the 30s. And like I said, she was an attractive lady.
Mm.
And here she is, wrestling. You know, she had a great look to her. I think she did also
Yeah,
maybe some
that's
carnival
like the
stuff.
most picture that you see of her mostly.
Yeah, because she's really much into health and fitness. She loved muscles. She loved, working out and training. I mean, and she worked with the guys. She had a great physique, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of ladies would, would love to have a physique like that. You know, but like I said, our society is not comfortable with the idea of women in muscle. It's something that's off-putting in the mindset of everybody else. But for us who are fans of women muscle, we love it. You know, maybe she maybe a little more size. Here she is with Tony Storm right there. Tony, she's British, and Tony thick as all thick as grits.
Mm.
You know, uh, you're saying earlier about Glow. I used to remember watching Glow as a kid. It
Yeah.
used to come on Saturdays, like right after, just about right after the cartoons go off. And I was like, when I was doing, I saw it on YouTube. I mean, not on YouTube, on IG. I'm about to pull up. It was the old open credits for Glow, and I sent
Okay.
it to myself because where is it? I know here it is. Here it is.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I see. I
My
think you
nephew,
sent me
like
that.
he can,
No, I was saying. I think that
yeah,
you sent me that, or I've seen that before somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah, I
And
know
here's
they
what
got
ladies used to
like
wrestle with it.
Nah, I was saying. I know they on YouTube they have like glow. Like if you like you well you type in glow, they gonna show the matches and the opening. That's what I wanted to
Yeah.
say.
Also, Glow had a TV series. I think it was on Netflix. This is Hollywood. It was like Hollywood and Vine. They were tag team together back in the day. Hollywood still on. Vine passed away a few years ago. I mean, she still looks pretty good. I mean, she's got to be in her late 60s. I mean, when she did the show was like back in 1986, like at least almost 40 years ago. So she, still holding up. I mean, um,
But she's a glow wrestler.
yeah, she was one of the first. She was one of the early Glow wrestlers.
Mm.
She was part of tag team Hollywood and Vine. You know, and really, it was Glow was owned by Sly Stallone's mother, Jackie Stallone. She ran
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
I think I
and
heard that before.
yeah, and the guy used to be the kind of the commentary. Plus, he was also I think the manager was named Dave McClain. He runs a show now called Wow Women of Wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to piggyback on there's women that's they trying to like have like a federation. I was thinking about Brandy May and Lady O, and you know, like women, that's trying to put out federations and stuff. So,
Yeah,
what's your thoughts on that?
well, depending what kind of federation it's going to be. Is it going to be wrestling? It's going to be what
Yeah,
is it going to be? Is it something that they can try to make mainstream? Because I know Brandy May supposed to do that reality show. It's supposed to be coming out, and a while back she did it was like a butt slapping contest.
yeah. That I'm not gonna lie. That ain't nobody gonna take that serious.
It's not about taking it seriously. It's about entertainment. You know, people maybe not take it seriously, but there'll be people have. There's right now. There's a federation called lingerie fighting championships. I know you know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's been around for a while. I know. I interviewed a lady. Her name was Brooke Gillen. She used to wrestle in that thing. Also used to be sometimes. She even did refs for some of the fights. She was going to make her BKFC debut a couple years ago against Jessica Borgia, a lady I interviewed who was a former Bellator fighter. Now she's over there. She's the women's PFC, I think, bantamweight champion. She was going to fight her in PKFC, but I remember she got her hand injured and she couldn't do it. I don't know. I used to follow a good bit, but I don't think her IG's up anymore. She just stopped. But if it's something that's entertaining, even if it's weird, like there's a thing called power slap. You
Yeah,
know,
that's another thing. I'm not going. Some of it can be funny a little bit, but it's like what's the goal? Like you smacking the person just to see how long they gonna stand, and that I'm like that's insane, man. There was this one scene like this one video where this dude he smacks this dude, and the dude that got smacked, his head hit the table then to the floor. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Then it's this other one. I think this other lady, she smacked the shit out of this lady so cold, like they might as well had a pillow right behind her. As soon as she fall, I'm dead serious. That's how insane that is, man.
yeah. Cause remember, you interviewed Courtney Olson and you asked her about her
Yeah,
time when she was on there. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it's just people just want to find something entertaining. That's something like the everyday person can do. Like how you know they're trying to push like we talk about this on the channel where we talk about how bodybuilding doesn't get on television, but you can show pillow fighting, you can show throwing darts, you can
yeah.
show cornhole, but you don't want to show bodybuilding. But you can show somebody getting slapped and getting the face busted up or getting knocked out, or even you can cause a lot of damage.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they feel like bodybuilding ain't really exciting enough.
Well, I guess it's each their own. Maybe not be excited for the everyday person, but I'm still a fan of it. But
Yeah,
back to Mildred, she went through a lot to get what she had to. I mean, the thing about the part within where they fought for see she could be a champion, that was a little bit that was something they did a little dramatic license with. The story was that at the end of it, they stripped her of her title
yeah,
because they even though there was the ex-husband did a lot of shit because he was a man, they went on his side. There was a lot of things going on back then. It was hard for a woman. She was at one point she was nearly broke. She didn't even take money. She tried to find a way the girls get paid. Struggle with stuff. She was, it was hard for her. And then after that, when she was done, she said, well, she started teaching other wrestlers. Fabulous Moolah, if you ever heard of her, was one of her
yeah.
students.
I've heard of
Yeah, and she used to be like back in the day. Some of these female wrestlers were sometimes they were valets to the male wrestlers, like people like remember like China used to hang with DX and them, before she started wrestling.
yeah,
Stratus, a couple others used to start just hanging out with the guys, and then eventually they started wrestling. China, she was one of the
right,
only women this before to wrestle at the Killer Kowalski Wrestling School. And Killer Kowalski was the top men wrestler back in the day. That's how she met
yeah.
Triple H.
Yeah. There's this woman that I was reading about a little bit. She was called the Black Widow, and she had a passion of wrestling. I think yeah, I was reading it when I was reading at the library and stuff, and she went to like wrestling camps and all that. So yeah,
Mhm. Yeah. You get
yeah, I know that yeah, I ain't really got too much to say about her, but I just was reading a little bit of her and stuff. So,
Yeah, I think everybody has to start. Here we got a comment from a man here, Brock 5. F5. It says bodybuilding is not the most exciting sport to watch, but
It's a niche.
it's a niche. Yeah, it's a niche. But it used to be on television. Back in the day.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
true.
used to be.
Yeah.
You know.
It was exciting when they would interview the bodybuilders like Jenny Jones. She used to have like like women like a lot of times the women there and like to see if people were no well to see if people were attracted to them or something like that, or but they had like bullies that used to bully them before, and so they see the women now, and some of them get turned on, or seeing them with muscles and stuff. Yeah,
There was some.
she no, I was just saying that she mostly did that. And yeah, that's it.
Montel used to always have a female body because he was a big fan. I got an
Yeah,
issue of Muscle Development. He's on the cover. He's like with a couple female bodybuilders. He was a big
yeah,
fan. He had Linda Murray. He had Laura Craval. He had some guys too, but he usually sometimes he had women's bodybuilding on there. Just talk to him.
yeah.
I think the person that really did it was that really got attention was Gerardo Rivera when he did
Geraldo,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, Gerardo.
yeah, man, the
Yeah,
women,
yeah.
yeah.
Even a lot of back then, I think in the good part of the 80s and 90s, even now. I remember there's a show, if you don't remember, it's called Charles Perez, and he
Charles
had,
Perez.
yeah, he came on like he wasn't that big. He came on right about the 90s. I'm like maybe he was in between, like during that time when there was so many of them, he was kind
Yeah.
of sandwiched in between them. He had Tina Lockwood on an episode, and
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, they was getting on her.
mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I feel like that was the time that's the last time we ever saw her because
Yeah, I
it's
was
always
in love.
been mixed.
I was really into her. I had a magazine, and like I forgot what magazine, and I just learned about her. She was huge. Like I even really she was like the one that got me more in looking at get involved in social media, really got me into Facebook really because of her, because I always wanted to know what ever happened to her because she disappeared. Like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, there were stories where she said she was working someplace here. I think she was working as a secretary for
yeah,
one of the bodybuilding organizations. There's nothing. I mean, he's kind of like Bobby Fischer, the cat used to play chess. He disappeared, came back a few years ago and talking shit, but she
yeah.
just disappeared. I mean, some bodybuilders, you can like one person was a fan of Denise Rusowski. Right now, she's homeless. I think her sister started a GoFundMe for a while.
Yeah. I seen that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
She's not
almost
even
all of the
mentally
young.
right, too. Also, she's not mentally
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I think some people feel like she could have came back that next year, maybe probably won the title, but whatever she was going through, she was even doing good charity work, helping kids in the hood, and
Yeah, yeah.
she just disappeared. But going back to the wrestling, yeah, like I said, growing up watching wrestling, it was an event for us kids. We used to do some of the wrestling moves. Sometimes my mom would get mad we hurt each other because we should be
Yeah,
doing stuff on wrestling because wrestling's not real. But
yeah.
it's a sports entertainment, and people like Mildred and Gorgeous George and so many others opened the door for a lot of the wrestlers today. Like I don't know you watch wrestling that much, I don't, but
Nah, I don't really watch it like that.
yeah, but like I said, it was just for me as a kid. It was something, you know, just seeing these kind of living embodiments of heroes. These guys who are doing this amazing stuff. These jumping off the top ropes, doing these moves. I mean, feats of strength. The guys like Lex Luger. I used to do this to my younger brother and my nephews. I used to put them in a torture rack like Lex Luger. I'm like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we used to cut up. And, women wrestling it has grown. There was
yeah.
Glow. There was also a federation called POW. POW's Women's Wrestling. It used to come on one of the
Nah, I never
first.
heard of that.
Yeah, it used to come on like a independent syndicated show network. One of those kinds that didn't wasn't part of CBS, ABC, or Fox. It was like one you have to like you're turning the channel, you find it, and and we used to watch a good bit. Actually, Luna Vachon, you remember her? She
From
used to
Boomerang.
no, not from Boomerang. Luna Vachon. She was a female wrestler. She used to wrestle. Remember, she
Oh,
used to
I
be
thought you meant Lila Rashawn. Okay,
no,
Lila.
no, we don't.
Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah. She used to wrestle. She used to hang out with. She used to hang out with Bam Bam
Let's
Bigelow.
show a picture, man. Like I don't
Okay,
know who these women. Just be naming these people. I don't know who you talking
all
about.
right. Let me see. Let me see. I say Luna Vachon. See, okay, okay, okay. Let me pull it up here. Let me see. Yeah, she was just her father was a wrestler,
Yeah.
and she used to hang out with a lot of wrestlers. Sometimes she was the like the valet. One point she was with Bam Bam Bigelow, then she was with Gangrel, and then she was with Goldust when the time him and his wife and him broke up, you know, and they became partners. You see, you pull it up here. Here's there's Luna Vachon.
Oh,
She
okay.
had the
I think I've seen
yeah
this boy before.
yeah she had the makeup, and she had it was face paint,
Yeah, I think I've
uh
seen her before.
yeah, she used to hang with Gold Dust for a good bit,
Yeah.
and also she was with where's that picture I saw her with, here she's like her dad was his name was, I think it was Mad Dog Vachon,
Mad
and
Dog Rashawn.
yeah, that was her dad. He
Yeah.
wrestled for a long time. She looked kind of, right here, she looked pretty good. I think she died about 10 years ago, maybe 10 or more years
Mm,
ago. You
yeah.
know, yeah. She wrestled with like here with her and Mad Maxine and Peggy Lee Leathers. They wrestled at a federation back in '85. You know, she is with the late Kevin Sullivan. And
Mm.
remember he started the Dungeon crew like that back in WCW days. You know, they used to hang out, and also you know because that's woman right there, Benoit's wife, Chris
Mhm.
Benoit. And also here she is with Bam Bam Bigelow. Remember Bam Bam?
Yeah, I
They
remember.
were, I think they used to date, I believe, but eventually they broke up. I think after he died. You know, they were close. Well, a lot of these wrestlers. Also, I think if I pull up here, the Fabulous Moolah. Fabulous Moolah. Yeah.
You ever see watch that whatchamacallit, the Hulk Hogan Rockin' and Wrestling?
The cartoon show or the
Yeah, the cartoon show.
yeah, I used to
Yeah,
watch it.
she
Yeah.
yeah, she was pretty when she was younger. She
Uh,
wrestled on Mildred.
she actually was trained by Mildred, but because by
Oh,
10, I
okay.
think by the time she got into Mildred was pretty much about retired. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. Her
Yeah.
friend Mae Young
I
used to.
remember Fabulous Movement. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember.
she was the women's WWF champion for a long time. Then
Yeah, she
she
was a
lost.
bad guy at one point
She was a heel.
in
Yeah,
wrestling.
she
Yeah.
lost the title to Wendy Richter, and then she lost the title to Sherry Montel. If you remember Sherry Montel, you know, you know, or some people might better know her as Sister Sherry. Wait a second. Wait a minute. Let me just see Sherry.
I wanted. I was thinking that maybe you could pull up the black women that wrestled. I had
All
a
right.
thought
Let me see.
about that.
Well, let me see. Let me go back and
Sensational
see.
Sherry.
We'll go back to Mildred.
Okay.
Yeah, she was Sensational Sherry. She was Sister Sherry. She was Queen Sherry. She used to hang with the $1 Million Man. She remember she was Queen
Mm,
Sherry when she hanged out with the Macho Man. She got
yeah,
inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, I think, the year before she died. You know,
yeah.
I still remember she used to also manage Shawn Michaels. You know, here she is with the Undertaker, and also when she went to WCW for a bit, she used to manage Harlem Heat.
Okay.
Yeah, remember that promo that Booker T was cutting when they talking about Hulk Hogan, we're coming for you, nigga. That's
Yeah, I wasn't watching wrestling when them two was the Harlem Knights, whatever they
Harlem Heat. They were
Harlem
mostly
Heat.
in they were mostly in WCW because you
Okay.
know yeah Booker when WCW folded, that's when Booker came over to WWE WWF
Okay.
because they never left when it was still Harlem Heat. The brother when both his brother Steve Wade together, they were
Yeah.
Harlem Heat and WCW to the company end. And then he was going on his own. He was wrestling under GI Bro for a while. It's GI Bro, and then he became the WCW Heavyweight Champion. I
Mm.
mean, and his thing funny about Harlem Heat, they were not from Harlem. They were from Houston.
Houston.
They
Why they call
some
themselves Harlem Heat? Just for the
well,
heck of it.
here's the thing is a lot of these promoters in the South are pretty much racist.
Yeah.
And they don't think that hey, people don't think there's black people in Texas, even though a lot of us were slaves in Texas during while they were doing Civil War. There was a lot of
Mm.
black people in Texas because of slavery, because they were still planting and harvesting cotton during the Civil War. So so they just thought, hey, who's gonna bleed two black guys from Houston? How about two black guys from Harlem?
Mm. I mean, they were black cowboys. You know.
Yeah. Hmm. Like one of my favorite wrestlers, Nikita Koloff's not really, his last his name is Koloff, but he had to fake the accent. He's not, I think he might know Russian, but he had to fake the accent. I
Yeah.
actually this is true story. This was like maybe about 20 years ago, and they opened a super Walmart in the next town over, which is Lumberton. That's our county seat, and there was doing signing with his uncle Ivan Koloff. And I asked him about the keys. He said, when the keys, he has a church in Charlotte where he's preaching. And he wasn't speaking with the
Mhm.
Russian accent. Surprised. I think I still got that picture he signed, it's somewhere in my closet or something. But it was just
Oh,
great seeing
okay.
him. I mean, grew up with these guys, watching them.
I remember on Mankind on my intern at my intern and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, Mankind. He seemed cool too. So I shook
Yeah.
his hand and he was getting on me about, yo, you want to get. I was like, nah, I just wanted to shake his hand because I seen him. He used to wear the mask and all that stuff, and
Yeah. 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 Mick Foley, Mankind, Mankind, have a nice day. Mr. Sacco. I mean,
yeah,
he was Mick Foley is a smart, intelligent guy. He went to college, and he was doing during that time he used to have to travel from college to go all the way to the next, like all the way to his wrestling school in Philadelphia. He was going to college in New Jersey, had to drive all the way to Philadelphia to go to the wrestling
yeah.
school he went to.
This
And
is girl. Go ahead.
go ahead, you go ahead.
Now, this girl that I interviewed, she's popping in my head. She's a rapper, and on the side, she wrestles also. Yeah, I forgot her name. I gotta check her name out. But that's what I wanted to say. There was this girl that she's a rapper. I gotta find her name and stuff. But go ahead, what you were saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I saw you interview a couple of times. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Mick Foley, he was first. He went by. He actually wrestled in WWF before he came Mankind, just as as they call them, jobbies. These are the guys that go in, they just get beat up. They don't win the matches. Their job just to make the either the superstar or the whoever the superstar in the match look good. That's what he
Yeah.
did for a good while. And then he went off and he changed his. And he became Cactus Jack, which is one of his stellar characters. He got really get a lot of extreme wrestling. That's when one wrestling match he lost a piece of his ear. We was wrestling Terry Funk.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. But you mentioned, say you want to know about the black female wrestlers. I'm about to
Yeah.
pull up. Her name was Babs Wingo, and her
That.
sisters. They used to wrestle and work with uh, Mildred Burke.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and back then, this is her sisters. Marvin Scott and Ethel, and Ethel kind of look like a I'm trying to think of you know, but
Yeah.
back then, a lot of it was harder for you know black female
Four
wrestlers
color
to get.
gals.
Yeah, that's what colored your colored Negro, whatever. They might use the nigger with the hard R. You know, but yeah, it was like women's wrestling has really strived from it. She had a great look to her. Very
Yeah.
feminine. Um, this is the actress that played her. Remember her? She,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, she was pretty good. You know, it takes, like I said, women wrestling has come a long way from, especially for black women. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, other than people, I remember there wasn't a lot. I mean, there was a few here and there. I know Glow had a couple of sisters on there, and I know
Yeah.
some other organizations have them. One that always going to stand out to me is Midnight. I mean,
Midnight. You got to show a picture of her. I don't know
uh,
who you talking.
her name was Anne Marie Crooks, and she was a bodybuilder,
Oh, yeah. I think I know who you talking about.
right?
Actually. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow. I
yeah.
didn't know she was a wrestler. Okay.
She was an amateur bodybuilder. Now
Yeah.
she used to hang out with Harlem Heat, and here she is, her and Booker T. She even one time
Yeah.
she wrestled Booker T's brother Stevie Ray in a match, and
Okay.
she was a big woman.
Yeah.
Some say because because the man family were very prejudiced and shit like that. Some which is
Yeah.
why they never picked her up and pulled it into um WWE. I feel it was
Mm.
still WF. I feel it was still WF back then. I think,
Yeah. I
but
remember her. Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
she was just amazing physique. I think I read
Yeah.
somewhere now she's doing I think he's a realtor in Florida somewhere.
Yeah. I remember her. I didn't realize.